So your seat good? Get the mirrors all adjusted. You can see everything okay? Just stay off the freeways, all right? I don't want you going out on those yet. Just leave your phone in your purse. I don't want you texting. Okay?
Daddy, okay.
Okay. There you go. Be careful.
Thanks, Dad.
Call me, but not while you're driving. We knew this day was coming. That's why we bought a Subaru.
Good morning and welcome to Radio Friends on Wednesday, November the 5th. It is good to have you with us today. I hope you're enjoying the pledge drive on KBIA, and if you haven't picked up that phone yet and called, we'd appreciate it. It's 882-91 FM. Okay. Now, Joy Sweeney is with us. Good to have you here, Joy.
Great to be here.
Representing the Council for Drug-Free Youth.
Yes.
I think you were on one time before.
I was
Yeah.
on previously. Thank you for having me again.
Hey, you're welcome. You're a great guest. But tell folks who may not be familiar with what the organization is, what you do.
What we do, it was started by 30 years ago by a group of parents who really felt that, about the time that the drugs started reaching the youth in our nation, that really felt that they wanted to protect their children and educate them about the importance of staying drug and alcohol free. And so they started this group, and they went into the schools and did programs. I think at the time we had one or two programs. The one that's been around the longest, since 1988, is the Safety Kids. And they just finished their tour.
In October.
In October,
So
yes.
what are the Safety Kids?
It's a group of fifth grade students who, actually between 20 and 25 students, who actually travel around all the various elementary schools. Kindergarten through fifth graders, Kindergarten through fifth graders come and listen to their presentation. And they do songs and dances, and then in between they do little skits that explain why it's important not to use drugs and not to use alcohol.
And these are fifth graders.
Fifth grade students.
And they are going to classes from kindergarten through the fifth grade.
All the way up to fifth grade, yes.
Now, the first question that pops into my head, and you got to remember, I'm going back many years, and I'm somewhat naive that way. You can't tell me that you're having problems with kids in the first grade to the fifth grade with drugs.
Well,
You're going to tell me you are, aren't you?
I'm going to tell you that the age of onset for almost all drugs is between the ages of, the average age, median age, is 12.6. And that means that you need to reach them before 12.6.
Yeah.
So, and fifth graders are 10 and 11-year-olds, or 9, 10, and 11-year-olds, depending on when they
So
started.
kids in the fourth and fifth grade.
Are being approached, are learning about these substances from older peers or older community members, or unfortunately, in some cases, parents. Mm-hmm. As sad as that sounds.
So what are the Safety Kids doing?
Well, it's really fun. We just watched the tour for the last 2 weeks. It was so engaging. The kids, there was an entire school full of students that would sit there and watch them. You could hear a pin drop. They sing the Safety Kids song, and then they talk a little bit about when tobacco came into our history, basically in the 1940s. And then they sing a 40s. They do a swing dance, and they move into, and then they are in a classroom, and somebody else is presenting on the 1950s, and so then they do an Elvis song, and then they talk about all the alcohol being really prevalent in our society in the 50s, and then of course the 60s. They come in and they do a little 60s
So
song.
these kids, they had to audition for this,
Oh, they
right?
had to audition.
And they rehearsed?
And they had a whole week-long summer camp where they learned all their lines and learned all the songs and all the choreography.
And then who takes them around from school to school?
The school program director and parents that volunteer take them from school to school for the entire day. And, some of the parents have 5 or 6. If they have bands, they have 5 or 6 kids in the car. And some of them only can hold 3 or 4. But they haul them around from school to school. They usually visit between 4 and 5 schools a day.
And in what school district?
And all throughout Jefferson City Public School District, Blair Oak School District, Eugene School District, Russellville, New Bloomfield, all of those school districts, public and private school, and then Fatima, Westphalia school districts. So they travel.
That's wonderful.
It is.
That is absolutely wonderful. So they're done now for the year, and they'll pick up again next year.
Yes, we get one bonus tour that they do for the whole community in August. We do Council for Drug-Free Youth does an ice cream social, and that's the preview of the Safety Kids, so the whole community can come out and see it. And then they do one post tour in March. We do our annual awards banquet where we recognize citizens in the community that have contributed significantly to Council for Drug-Free Youth, and scholarship recipients, students that have stayed drug and alcohol free from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, write essays as to why they made that choice, how they plan to do that in college, and what they think we can do to help the community impact youth to remain drug and alcohol free. So the Safety Kids perform one more time in March.
Well, that's fantastic.
It is.
The other thing I wanted to touch on, what is the biggest problem as far as drug and alcohol that we see?
Well, the biggest problem, and it's not new news, unfortunately, it's still alcohol. It's underage drinking is our biggest problem. There are marijuana. The two that we have decided to target for this next school year or this next calendar year are underage drinking and alcohol. Underage drinking and marijuana.
Marijuana.
And
what about prescription drugs?
Prescription drugs, I'm glad you asked that question, because that is something that is on the rise. It's a increasing trend that we are seeing at an alarming
rate. Kids are experimenting with prescription drugs that they're getting out of the medicine cabinet.
Absolutely. And they have this misperception that because it's from a medicine cabinet or because it's a prescription drug that it's safe. It's not safe, and they're highly addictive. Students can become, let's say they get in a car accident or they have a sports injury, and the doctor prescribes them 30 days because they don't want the child to be in any pain. So they take them. If they take them for the entire 30 days, they can be addicted. Their pain stops after week 2, but, it makes them feel kind of good.
Yeah.
And so they continue for the entire 30 days. In 30 days' time, youth can become addicted. Not all.
Right, I understand. And
we're
the only, you told me, and we're out of time here, but you said we were the only state in the entire country that did not have a law regarding prescription drugs.
We are the only state in the entire country that does not have a prescription drug monitoring program, and that's scary, and that's why we get all the pill shoppers coming to Missouri.
Okay, all right. If people want more information, the website to go to is?
www.jccdfy.org.
Okay.
Or they can call me.
And your number is?
573-636-2411.
Joy Sweeney, thank you. You need an hour special. You're
Next
good.
time.
All right. Tomorrow, Trivia Night, National Federation of the Blind. Our program directed by Travis McMillan, Reynolds Journalism Institute. Audio, Pat Akers, KBIA. Our floor director, Lowell Thomas. Our assistant producer and guest coordinator, Uncle James Mauser. 882-9136 if you want to make a pledge, KBIA. Bye-bye.